A couple of disclaimers before we begin. Not so long ago, I worked with the developers and publisher of this game, helping them a bit with community support, and I received a copy of the game before launch. Not only that, I played the game for several hours in the late stages of its development. While I tried my best to remain unbiased with the review, due to the simple fact that I've spent so much time with the game and helped promote it, I will obviously have a soft corner for it. So please keep that in mind as you watch the review. First, let us address the royal elephant in the room. Is this game just a copy of the popular title Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown? The short answer is no. The long answer has a few more details, but I'll discuss it in the closing thoughts section of this video because I don't want this review to be just a comparison of the two games. If you're here just for a summary, then here it is. Winds of Arcana Ruination is an earnest attempt at the Metroidvania formula that narrates a rich fantasy story while offering some challenging platforming and action gameplay along the way. Whether or not you've seen all of this before depends on your personal experience with the genre. If you're a Metroidvania veteran and have beaten games like Hollow Knight Silksong or Dead Cells, your enjoyment of this game may vary. For everyone else, this game could be a gateway into the Metroidvania genre, with its difficulty and accessibility settings allowing players of all skill levels to enjoy the story and get to the end of the game. One last thing to mention before we proceed is that I don't normally play a lot of Metroidvania games, so I might highlight or complain about something that could be considered standard for a Metroidvania game. So I hope veterans of the genre will excuse me for that. Now let's get into the full review. There will be a few minor spoilers ahead.
They're here.
Aaron, you're alive.
Good to see you too, Yasui.
How? I saw you die 3 months ago.
I'm sorry to disappoint you.
The game is set in a magical fantasy world. You play as Aaron, a mercenary who is on a mission to find the rest of his group after being separated due to an attack. Aaron has died and has been brought back to life and must now find out what happened. This is a world full of magic, and you are a warrior mage who must make use of both weapons and magical abilities to find your way forward. The world is divided into several zones or levels, each with its own distinct theme, and each that is full of traps and all sorts of monstrous creatures. Aaron must travel through these zones following a trail to pick up clues that will tell you more about the dark forces that caused the group's downfall. As you keep playing the game, you pick up snippets of the story that are unlocked in your modex, but there's also fully voiced dialogue whenever you run into an NPC on your way.
Oh, please, do not attack!
Who are you? Friend or foe?
Traga, friend, relic hunter.
Well met, Mr. Tracker. Now move, so I can pass through that door.
Door to temple. Door is locked.
The excellent voice acting and the tightly written script can certainly get you immersed into the story, provided you're okay being a bit clueless for the first hour or so, because the story is not narrated in the traditional way with a lot of cutscenes. Once you get past that initial wall of confusion, though, there's quite a good fantasy narrative offered by the game.
Many spiders.
I probably wouldn't have reviewed this game had it not been for the developers adding a difficulty toggle, something that isn't guaranteed in many modern Metroidvania games. The platforming and combat in this game can be brutal, which is considered normal for fans of challenging games like Hollow Knight, but Winds of Arcana invites players like myself who want to just spend time exploring the world and soaking in the story. I gladly turned down the difficulty and enabled the platforming assist option and was immediately able to make faster progress. Without these options, I would have probably moved on to another game within the first hour. The gameplay loop consists of upgrading your arsenal of weapons and finding the right magical abilities to keep moving forward.
Baker.
Certain parts of the map
Evil,
are
but
blocked
I get
until
it
you
working.
find a tool or ability that will let you pass. These abilities are often given as a reward for completing boss battles, but you may also pick up minor abilities simply by exploring the map. There are three weapon classes: swords, hammers, and chakrams, which offer a ranged attack option. Within the three classes, you can find multiple weapons spread across the game, each offering their own set of benefits. In terms of magic, you're given tools known as soul crests, each of which offer you four distinct abilities.
A soul
Combat can be a
crest.
bit annoying in the
Oh,
beginning when
this
you
will
don't
change
have a soul
things.
crest, but once you get your first one, the combat becomes much easier. Relics are items which grant you a minor boost, such as increased weapon damage or a reduction in incoming damage. And finally, there are special abilities known as artifices, which offer you access to previously unreachable parts of the map. The platforming truly starts getting crazy once you unlock all of these artifices and are required to use two or more of them in quick succession to clear the puzzle. The map is predictably hidden at the start of the game, and you need to keep exploring and remove the fog of war by finding map fragments. The boss fights are quite memorable, and it's clear a great deal of thought went into designing these fights. Some of the later bosses might feel a bit unfair at first, but for those who persist, they are a worthy challenge.
Trespasser, halt in the name of Tor Krios.
Try and stop me.
When I made a video after playing the game's demo in early 2025, one of my complaints was that the game's lighting felt a bit dull. Well, that complaint has been resolved in the full game. Winds of Arcana features a distinct 2.5D stylized art style, which only grows on you as you keep playing. I still feel that the opening level could have been a bit more visually interesting, but the later levels offer a wider variety in terms of visual appeal. Without spoiling any of the major boss fights or puzzles, here's a brief run through some of the biomes you can encounter as you keep playing. While that's going on, let's also talk a bit about performance. The developers intend to release this game on console eventually, but at launch, this is a PC only title, and it runs quite well. The benchmark is my ancient PC, which struggles to run most modern games, but all the footage captured for this video was recorded using a PC running an old GTX 1070 card. Also, as someone who has played different builds of the game over the past few months, I've noticed a lot of improvement in the general performance, and now it runs quite smoothly with no fear of frame drops or crashes. There is a lot of loading as you move between different zones, but the interruptions are brief and there's no loading screens with progress bars to break your immersion. It's a brief fade to black before you're back in action.
Oh, just die already.
Alright, it's now time for the longer answer to the question: is this game a copy of Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown? There are undeniably a few similarities in gameplay elements and overall look of the game. Elements like platforming assist and taking screenshots to remember points of interest are clear giveaways that certain features might be inspired from other games. For this, I'd say that Every Souls-like game that features a block, dodge, and parry system cannot be considered a clone of the Dark Souls games. Another example I can think of for this argument is how a game like Wayfinder was accused of just being a Diablo clone. The gameplay elements might be similar, yes, but each game tells its own story. It's okay to choose not to play a certain game, but to dismiss it entirely as being a clone is unfortunate. At the end of the day, Winds of Arcana is not a clone. It's clear about its ambition to offer a Metroidvania adventure on a smaller scale than some of the big hitters in the genre. As the debut title of a talented team of developers, this game makes it clear that each part of it was built with great thought and care. And for that, I would love to see this game succeed so that the developers at Brood Games are able to continue honing their craft and bring us many more adventures in the future. Thanks for watching.